What's going on, fam? This is most of the video is a clip from one of my most recent live streams where I spoke about Mystikal, rapper Mystikal. He is sentenced to 20 years. I believe this was part of a plea deal. This is his second time going to jail over assaulting a woman. It's very clear that, and I did some research right before I actually in editing this video. It looks like he got a lot of support when he got out of jail that first time. But this does not look like it's going to be any type of second chances. His second chances are up. And by the time he gets out of prison, he's going to be an older man. His rap career is over. It's over. This is the end of somebody who had a lot of potential, but because he couldn't keep his hands off women, now he doesn't have that. People can say, well, people can get help. No, I don't think he can be rehabilitated. How do you go back to jail for doing the same thing, right? When people supported you after you got out the first time. And this is why a lot of times when you look at people and you look at, what could have made him do what he did. Sometimes people aren't to be looked into. People are just who they are, and Mystikal is who he is, and that's why he's going to be sitting in prison for another 20 years and wasting all the potential that he had, right? So where Mystikal was able to get away with it, and the judge gave Mystikal the maximum because he looked at it and he saw the allegation, the fact that he had done time for this before. He wanted Mystikal to stay in jail for as long as he could, and he could just go pay for it. Like, you can literally go and pay for it. Why do you have to assault these women, bro? No woman is safe around this guy. Y'all remember that video of the guy that got arrested and they were walking him out of a building in handcuffs, right? And there was a female police officer who opened the door, but she had her back turned to him, and she had her assets sticking out, right? When he passed her, he rubbed on her asset. He rubbed on her ass, right? And they had to jack him up, and I think they would have whooped on him if it wasn't for them cameras being there. But the dude he was such a pervert at heart. He just couldn't help himself. He seen, he seen that butt and he just couldn't resist. He just had to get a grab. I believe this happened in Florida. I remember seeing that video. I was like, wow. Like, he just didn't care. He in handcuffs, surrounded by all these police officers. But he saw an opportunity to grab that woman's ass, and he did that. That's Mystikal. Mystikal sees a woman, he just can't resist assaulting her. And that's why the judge made sure he got the maximum, the 20-year prison sentence, because he's not rehabilitated. He went to jail for this once, got out, and did it again. Now, it was like a gap in between, but we don't know how many times he may have done this during that time, and he just finally got caught. That's why I say, man, and there's other men like him. There are men like Mystikal everywhere. Men who have a heart of a degenerate, and they will do things because they have really bad impulse control. Since I guess the word of the week last week was impulse control. Well, Mystikal has very bad impulse control. This guy has so much potential as an artist. People don't understand how much potential Mystikal had as an artist. Mystikal had a lot of potential. Just imagine if he wasn't a degenerate, where his career would be. Imagine where Mystikal career would be if he wasn't a degenerate at heart and couldn't stop assaulting women. minus any other legal issues he may have, right? I think he would still be relevant today because his rapping style was just so unique. He has such a unique rapping style that I think even today you would have artists working with him. You would still see him out there touring. But because he couldn't keep his hands off women, now he's gonna have to spend another 20 in jail, and they're gonna make sure he spend the majority of it, and there'll be no parole. But he had a lot of potential. He was the best. Yeah, he was the best No Limit soldier. But he couldn't get out of his own way. I don't think he understood the talent he had. I don't think he understood it. No Limit just did a verses with Cash Money. Just imagine if Mystikal was on stage with them. Now, I believe they won the verses without him, I believe. Yes, Silk was the worst. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Yep, ODB too. Imagine him on stage after verses against Cash Money. But he can't. He can't be that because he's too busy assaulting women. Like, if you needed that bad enough, just go and pay for it like all these other guys do. Go trick off. You know what I'm saying? Because you have a lot to lose, but these guys don't understand that they have a lot to lose. That's the worst part about it. They don't understand that they have a lot to lose. And they're willing to risk it. They're willing to risk it. And all that potential goes out the window. And now he's going, because he's going to be in jail until what? How old is Mystikal? Let me see how old Mystikal is. I might have said it when I read the... Mystikal is 55 years old. He gonna be in prison until he's 75 years old. Just imagine that. But even then, the streets ain't safe. Even at 75, you gotta really watch the women around him. Yeah, he's 55. So even then, you know what I'm saying, people gonna have to keep an eye on him. All the potential gone. It didn't have to be that way, but it's the way it is because Mystikal just could not control himself. He couldn't do it. Impulse control. Everybody want to talk about impulse control over the last week or two. Well, this is a guy who definitely had bad impulse control. To the point to where he's going to be spending the next 20 years staying in prison until he's in his 70s. And that's where he should be, to be honest with you. Because if you, again, poor impulse control, that's where you need to be. That's where you need to be. But I've heard some things about them Louisiana artists. Not a lot, but there's some things going on down there. But that's my take on what's going on with Mystikal. I think he absolutely earned that sentence.